Emmy nominations. Holy shit.
Andor got 14. Adolescence and The Pit is.
How could The Last of Us get more Emmy nominations than Andor?
She got 2 more.
What the fuck? And how is The White Lotus that good?
It's pretty
really
good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I sat down. I watched all 3 seasons. I was like, this show is fucking wild.
Wait, what's your favorite season?
Man, I don't know. I know people don't like the second season, but my favorite line in the whole series is at the end of the second season. Jennifer Coolidge is on the boat, and she goes to the captain. Do you know these gays? And she keeps asking him, do you know these gays? I fucking laughed out loud. I still walk around just going, do you know these gays? It's so funny. But
Dude, that should be a GTA line.
Yeah, it's so funny. The third season was really good, though, too.
I don't care. I never watched any of the other seasons, but the first season of True Detective is like epic.
Yeah, that's the best season. Anybody watch The Pit? Do you watch The Pit?
Cyber, it's all you, sir. We already went ahead and went live with some B-roll conversational action, sir. If you want to go ahead and start the Alien Earth episode 3 recap, have at it.
All right, folks. So welcome to the MCU's Bleeding Edge. We're live Wednesday night, August 20th, to discuss the 3rd episode of the new Alien Earth TV show that is on Hulu. So if you're familiar with, of course, the Alien franchise, this is a continuation of the Alien franchise. It's actually kind of a prequel, sequel kind of deal. It's kind of intermixed in between some films. And I think that, it's done really so far so well. Now, this episode that we're going to be discussing tonight ends up being called Metamorphosis. This one, of course, was written by Noah Hawley and Bob De Laurentiis, and directed by Dana Gonzalez. This is the 3rd episode. If you have not watched the first 2 episodes, highly recommend go check those out before you watch this live stream. Or if you don't care, come watch this live stream. It's all good. And as always, we have a great crew with us tonight to discuss this episode. Of course, we have the time cop, time traveler, Doctor Who wannabe / toxic Avenger, Mr. Andres, the pop culture guy. How are you, pop culture guy?
Very good. Just to clarify, Toxic Lord and Time Lord official, folks. So don't listen to this half shark, half cybernetic man. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Bye-bye.
And there we go, folks. And you can see why he's called a time traveler. Great air tunnel sound, folks. Tunnel vision. Thank you.
Yes.
And then, of course,
bullet train with tunnel action.
Yes. And of course, we have as our loyal, amazing creator and host, Mr. Jeff S. How we doing, Jeff?
Oh, sir, I'm just the co-host. I don't need any fancy host titles or anything like that. But I'm wonderful. It's good to be here to talk about Alien Earth with good friends, good creator friends.
There you go. Well, look at the humbleality, folks. Oh, so humble. Yet he's still gonna get a title. I don't care. Anyways, we have returning from the Jock and Nerd podcast, Mr. Imran. How we doing, Imran?
I'm very good. I do not live in a wind tunnel. I'm not that aerodynamic. It just would be disaster. So I just live in a regular tunnel.
Imran, your audio is always motherfucking tizite.
Oh, that's a good thing? I don't know what the kids are saying these days. I'm going to take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Tizite would be something from the 90s, Imran. So that's something old, sir. So, yeah, it's not the something kids old, these days.
Something new.
Yeah. And as always, returning from the great lands of California, Mr. The Wrath of Khan. How we doing, Wrath? Long time no see, sir.
Yeah, long time no see. Glad to be back. Man, it's been a while since I saw Alien Romulus, and I'm like, man, I'm just so excited to watch this show. So glad to be here.
Excellent. Glad to have you, sir. And yes, Alien Romulus, great film if you have not seen it, folks. On Hulu as well. Check it out. All right, so just kind of want to get a kind of a thought process going here on you guys, since this is both Imran's and Mr. Khan's first time here with us doing Alien Earth. I want to get your guys' thoughts on what do you feel about the series so far with the first 2 episodes leading into episode 3, sorry. Starting with you, Imran.
I am a big Alien fan, even though this franchise has maybe 2 really good movies and then 1 okay and the rest is crap, but I love the lore. I've been really impressed with this show so far. The production, top notch. I love Noah Hawley. He's a great showrunner. Legion was a cool show. I gotta watch Fargo. I heard it's good, but like Shogun, it's on the same network. I heard they spent a little bit more like Shogun, and then like Andor. It's just a solid sci-fi show so far, and it's adding to this alien lore, which is really cool. He's doing his own take. So yeah, I've been really impressed. Happy with the first 2 episodes on this 3rd episode to see where he takes us.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Imran. Mr. Wrath of Khan, sir. Your thoughts on the first 2 episodes leading into episode 3, sir?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty good. I mean, the first episode was a little bit slow, but I liked how at least it was like faster than like, other shows where the first episode is like so slow. They try to lay out this large foundation and it's like, at least this time, they kept things simple and they actually got the action like rolling like much sooner, which is nice. I also like that, for those who didn't grow up watching Alien, that like something like Romulus, that movie was like their first time entering the Alien universe. It just does a great job of hooking those viewers into the series, into the Alien universe. Like you don't need to know much prior knowledge, but whatever prior knowledge that you have, it just makes the show even more enjoyable to watch. So overall, it's really great.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Like I said, great to have you back. Great to have Imran back. All right, going over to you, Jeff and Mr. Andreas. I just kind of want to get your guys' thoughts, leading into episode 3 here. After watching, episodes 1 and 2 last week, what are you guys? Have your thoughts changed at all since watching the last 2 episodes? And I'll start with you, Jeff.
No, I mean, my thoughts never really change at all. Or overall, this early, 2-3 episodes into a show, you know what I mean? I'm usually always optimistic and really trying to, ride it out with the show, even if there's some iffy shit going down, right from jump, in one of the first couple episodes, right? So, honestly, Alien Earth is so like highly watchable, right? Like so Shogun, like level, you know what I mean? To like, kind of like use a a very relatable term out, throw out a term that's very relatable for this panel tonight. A show, it's like a Shogun level, I never watched Legion, and I only have watched little bits and pieces of Fargo, but I imagine what Imran was talking about, I know I've heard from other people and I know the concept of Legion, so I'm sure it was a great show. And I'm sure Legion and Fargo have that same Shogun level, high level television, we always say HBO level, HBO quality type television, type TV show. Alien Earth has that vibe going in spades from jump in those first 2 episodes, they really like would have had a really hard time, I would imagine bungling and fucking up episode 3, and they didn't, they killed episode 3, it's another great like super long, like hour-long type episode, which I love that length. That's like my favorite sweet spot for TV, is like I want that hour or like that 55 minutes or whatever, episode length, because honestly, for me, at the end of the day, the majority of the television, TV shows that we cover that are like the best ones for me to review and watch or whatever, are usually, the ones that have the longer length episodes, at the end of the day, the HBO style ones, FX, Shogun, whatever. You know, so I'm loving the length of the episodes. I love that, you know, the FX does the full 50-minute, 55-minute, hour plus long episode lengths. Because in the audience, as a member, a fan watching the show, the episodes are so long that you're able to sit there and enjoy them and and watch them and, you know, really enjoy the watchability of them. And yet at the same time, know at the end of the day that when the show, you know, switches over to a black screen for a commercial break, you know, type deal, there's still going to be more episodes, you know, coming afterwards most of the time, you know, because, you know, the episodes are so long, you know, consistently, which I love. You know, so I just really enjoyed that. I think that, you know, that just adds to the overall entertainment value of Alien Earth is the length of the episodes. Because, I mean, there's just so much content there to, you know, to dig into. So much stuff happened in episode 3 to talk about, you know, like a lot occurred. And you can only do that. You can only have that much going on, you know, if you have a whole hour to work with. So yeah, I'm loving it, man. Alien Earth is great. It looks great. It's expensive and high end and obviously not cheap. So really, I mean, everything about it is totally great.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Over to you, Andres. The same question, sir.
Yeah. I think so far the show is exceeding my expectations. So far the production designs are awesome. I mean, you can tell that the team here, Noah Hawley, are a big fan of the Alien franchise, particularly the 1979 classic from Ridley Scott. And you totally see the love here. And, you see a lot of the, your traditional, alien story beats, but turning in their head and, in very interesting ways. The fact that we're dealing with, the Saints, cyborgs, and, that's actually a really good direction. That's something I never thought to do in an Alien story. That's kind of awesome because they're a big part of the Alien franchise if you've seen the films. And yeah, just Amran, Jeff, and then Raph, me. We've seen a couple of the shows that Noah Hawley did. For me, I seen Legion when it aired. It was one of my favorite shows, and I have seen Fargo, season 2, 3, 4, and I had to finish up 5. I trust Noah Hawley. He's a great showrunner. He knows what he's doing. And for this episode, for me, I'm very happy we're moving forward with our characters, developing them in a very intense way in the next couple episodes, which is interesting. We'll get into it in the review. I'm just loving the show, and you could tell they're spending the money in the show. I mean, it's ridiculous, and I'm very excited to talk with you guys with the show. It's I think it can be the best show of this year. I mean, I don't know that it will be Endor, but
it'll be the best show of this year, Andres, but win no awards.
That's true. It's a shame. It's a shame. But yeah, that's all I have to say. It's a filler episode, but a good one. I think it's a good filler episode where we're just taking our time with the characters that we kind of got introduced in the first 2 episodes, and I liked some of the development that we got with some of the characters, and I'm like, okay, I'm very excited to see where we're going to take these, and we learned a couple of things that I was not thinking about, with the face huggers, and so we'll get into that. But overall, I'm very happy where we're going for. You see the love and care with the show, which is good. I seen Alien Romulus. That was a good movie. I really liked it. It was in my top rank of 2024 films. It brought back what I like about the films, and just adding a couple new things. Plus, they brought something back from the prequels, Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which I'm not going to spoil. But if you see it, you understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, so when I heard the TV show was on, I was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. Just 8 episodes exploring the Alien universe, and I think so far I'm very happy where we're doing right now.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right. So, getting into episode Metamorphosis, we start off with Nibs begins to question her and the other hybrids, Peter Pan, namesakes, and the true reason behind their creation. Cavallari orders the specimens be brought to Neverland Island for study, despite objections from Kirsch and Dame Sylvia. Morrow interrogates Smee and slightly guarding the xenomorph eggs. Suspicious of their childlike behavior, he downloads the specimen data and plants a device on Slightly before escaping. So we'll stop there. This whole Peter Pan thing cracks me up because I think that's only because Disney now owns 20th Century Studios, or 20th Century Fox. So they're inputting some Disney into this, having these kids be like Peter Pan and Wendy and the different names of the Lost Boys and stuff. And I started cracking up at that when they first started giving their names, and I was like, what is this, a Disney production? I'm like, this is not Alien, okay? So I think that's super funny that they decided to interject some Disney-ness into this show. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. I mean, it's funny as hell, but at the same time, it's kind of like, that takes away from the Alien mythos a little bit, I felt. Definitely, I know that Peter Pan exists in the world besides Disney, but at the same time, you're like, the names are just a little too similar to the Disney versions. So I think it's funny that they kind of interjected that whole Wonderland and Neverland and the Peter Pan thing into this. I think it's funny. But anyways, guys, what are your guys' thoughts on this kind of like first, I would say, third of the episode? And what are overall your thoughts on that? What did you like? What did you hate? And kind of just overall what you thought about that section leading up to that endpoint I mentioned when basically we have the the specimen data downloaded into the cyborg and and they escape. So we'll start with you, Wrath.
So we're also including the part where the cyborg just download all the data. Okay, because that's going to be the main thing that I'll be talking about here, because I found it smart. I found it unique because in one end, you had like all those folks, they're just reading the data on all these like foreign specimens. And then, on the other end, this dude just takes all the data, puts in his head, and then he just like runs off. And just that whole scene alone, it was just so memorable to me because you see him, he's done all that data and he's like sweating. And the first thing I was thinking about was, wait, these people are sweating when they're getting data? Like, I don't even think of my computer like sweating when it's like downloading a lot of files. If anything, it just gets hot, but there's no sweat. But then I remember, they're like, like half human. No, he's not cyber. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He's a cyborg.
Like full robot, right?
No, he's a man augmented with machine parts.
Yeah, he's a cyborg.
As a cyborg. So he's got one arm. His one arm is just a machine, you notice, and then he's got other augmented things in his head.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking of him as like that guy in Romulus, like those robots that look like humans.
Well, that's a synth. That's what Kirsch is, and
you gotta be pretty wide open about the whole concept, Wrath, because at the end of the day, like we have no idea what it's like to live with like cybernetic, robotic implants in our bodies and things like that. You know what I mean? And like computers and shit like that in our brains or whatever, or whatever the fuck. So like, who knows what kind of humanity you really have going on at that point, if you understand me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I will say what I liked in that scene especially is like after he downloaded all those files, like if you look at his hand, that one cyborg hand, it's like you could see like all the details that the producers put. Like, you have like the fingernails, but like they look different. And I think that one fingernail he took, was that like a contact lens or what? Because like he like literally held in his eye, and then I don't even know where it went after that.
I'm not sure.
So it came from his finger. It was like a track. It's kind of like this small tracking / communication device he put on
That's
the
the
neck.
thing he put in his neck when he touched
Neck.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the neck device. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
I never saw it, but I saw it in the neck. Well, I saw the neck light up or whatever, you know.
Yeah. When he moves his hand, you see this thing get absorbed into the
Sorry,
skin.
Rat.
Oh no, all good. No, I needed the clarity, but I just want to say, like, just the fine line of detail, especially with like the cyborg hand. Like, I was really impressed with it. Like, so good. You know, typically with all these like TV series, you wouldn't expect them to put that much level of detail. You know, you'd think like, oh, it just looks like a random cyborg hand that like, you know, people copy, you know, across different movies. But this one is like so unique. You know, especially that whole concept of taking that fingernail and just putting it in your neck. Like, that's a whole new concept. And I just admire just everything what the producers did in that scene. I mean, it's way more detail with the technology in this universe than what I've seen in like the previous 2 episodes. So that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you, Wrath. Going over to you, Andreas. Your thoughts, sir, on that section?
Yeah, I thought the opening was good. It kind of catches up where we left off from episode 2, where was it? Wendy was going after her brother, but spending time with these 2 boys. I forgot their name, but you know, these 2, you know, protecting the like 4 big eggs. They have the face huggers, and then we get you know, back up to Mr. Marrow, who's is definitely my favorite character, like my in-stream character. I'm like want to learn more about, and I like that this episode we took our time to like get to know him, because like one of the things that I like that the series is going for is a corporate espionage kind of thriller, you know, because you know the whole Alien franchise always dealt with corporate business and like how evil they are and like how ethical they, you know, are towards, you know, humans and colonization, all that, you know, as you've seen with the older movies and you know, more recently Alien Romulus with the mine planet that we saw with our young characters there. And so I really like they're going really deep in that. And you know, this is our I mean, Mr. Marrow is connected to the Wayland currently. Yeah, that is the big thing with the Alien franchise. So it's cool to see this character connected to that company. And yeah, it's cool to see a cyborg. You know, I mean, his arm is cool. I mean, aesthetically, like when you see it, like half here is like, oh yeah, he's half something here. And I agree with Raph here. It's very interesting when he was downloading the data. Like, you know, unlike, you know, what we saw with you know, Tiffany Athens' character. I forgot his name. His character also downloaded the mothership data and from last episode, because he was a synth, and so he was able to like download all information. Where, you know, with Marrow, you know, he's a human, and so he's collecting data, and it's like overwhelms him. That was really cool to see. And you know, you get this kind of like cool sci-fi thing where he's questioning the 2 boys about like, are you real? You know, he's discovering at that moment that they're synths, and like, you know, that they, you know, they're like humans being in synth bodies, and that's like, is he going to go explore more of that? Like, what he's going to do now that he knows that knowledge, you know? And obviously, toward, you know, wrapping up, it was really cool to see, you know, the other synth coming in, talking to him, you know, just addition the synth and the cyborg, you know, how different and how, you know, similar they are. And you saw briefly, like, I never noticed is like the egg hatching, you know, like, because you know, Marrow is human, you know, the egg started to hatch, and later on, I like how we got the reveal, like, there's a reason why these eggs hatched how they hatched, which is interesting, which we'll get into later on in the episode. So yeah, I really like the opening. It's really intense. You know, it was great to get more like sci-fi, you know, in depth, you know, themes, which is good. And you know, because they're bringing not only alien stuff, they're also like taking a lot of Blade Runner stuff into the show, which is great because that's a cool like respect to Ridley Scott, you know, who directed that first Alien movie, and the next movie he did was Blade Runner. So it's cool that you're dealing in more sci-fi themes, which is neat, and that connects to another director's work. Yeah, so overall, I like this opening. It's great, and I like the opening titles. Actually, like I love how like retro they are, like from the original, and I like the split. Like, I thought I was gonna be annoyed with the split cuts of like the footage we saw from last episode. That didn't bother me. I actually like that because it kind of reminds me of like, oh, that's where we were at the end of the episode. Wendy was with his brother and with her friend to like in this area of the eggs, and you know they were ordered to like stay there to protect it. And then the Seymour took the brother. So like it was a good recap, not being this like annoying recap that we get sometimes with TV. This was a good recap, like seeing the splits of clips from the previous episode to like remind us of where we're at. So I really dug this opening of the episode 3.
All right, thank you, Toxic Avenger. Imran, your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, Andres, I noticed that too about the title credits, and I think it's brilliant because I don't know. Instead of simply doing a previously on recap, they're giving you this awesome title reveal with clips from the episode before to remind you. I have not seen any other show do anything like this, and I'm surprised they don't. It's so clever and efficient. You're not wasting time. But what Noah Hawley is doing great on the show is creating original things and adding to the lore in a franchise, right? The cyborgs, the hybrids, these are all new concepts that he has put into this alien world, and it's fantastic. In the beginning, the redhead girl, Nibs, she's traumatized because that eye monster almost got her. So you start to see her kind of start to question what is exactly going on. The two guys who meet Morrow are so fun because it's wild. These are 12-year-olds. These are 12-year-olds in adult bodies, and it's hilarious because the one dude is like, dude, we saw this crazy bug alien. And the other guy's like, dude, we're on a spaceship. And then later he swears, he goes, you said fuck. And he goes, you said shit. And they're trying not to be children, but they're 12-year-olds being sent into a horrific situation. It's wild. But I will agree, Morrow, along with Wendy, is my most favorite character, most interesting character. And yeah, everybody sweats in an alien movie. That's the other thing this show does well. It's moist, it's slimy, it's wet, it's glistening, and that's like the look for Alien. But I do love it's very Blade Runner also. So yeah, lots of interesting things in the beginning of this one. And the kids, it's funny that they're kids. They're just kids.
Thank you, sir. Jeff, same question, sir. Your thoughts on that beginning leading up to Morrow downloading all the information to his brain and having the conversation with Slightly?
Yeah, I mean, like everybody's already saying, like our good buddy Wrath is was talking about. Morrow is a really fascinating character on the show so far, and he's a lot of fun. He's a very good piece for this show so far in terms of he really like eats up a lot of screen time when he's on screen. He's very effective on his own, and really commands the screen. Especially with all of his robotic enhancements, and then his gadgets, his gear, like all the tech he has or whatever, he got for Will and Yutani and shit, he has awesome tech so far too, you know what I'm saying? So that's always fun to watch, and he's just a great character. Having the episode start off, well, let me just bounce off of Andres' good point and Imran. That title scene is great, where they play back the really like gory or like really like bloody scenes from like the previous episode or whatever, like in the sort of in the title. I love it. It's great. The music is great. So far, the music overall has been great. And having the episode start off on Murrow right off the bat and kind of key in on him, I think was, a great move, for the episode, for the show. So I loved seeing him interact, Moreau, because eventually we knew it was going to happen. I loved seeing him interact with the synthetics because they are so childlike and innocent, and Moreau is so calculated and evil, like sadistic. He's like a killer, you know what I'm saying? That there's just so much tension on screen when he's around them. You know what I mean? He's so dangerous around them, when he pulled his knife on that one, Indian character, I genuinely had that sense in the audience that he might kill that kid, the synth. You know what I mean? Because why not? You know what I mean? He's a synth, he's not a human. You know what I'm saying? So his value in terms of his life is very low, overall. You know what I mean? To some fucker like Moreau, honestly, I could give a fuck less about the Peter Pan names or whatever and all that crap. I think it's really dumb. I don't really give a fuck about Peter Pan that much at this point in my life. But the concept of the synths and having them be so childlike and so adolescent and all that could be something that very easily maybe doesn't work for the show, possibly, right? If you could find one thing that maybe you could dislike or have a complaint about or whatever, it could be an element like that, kind of. But so far, at least, that's not the case for the show. The synths are a strength; they work. Wendy obviously is the star, right, out of all of them, but they're all really great. They're all good. And they add a certain element to the show that causes horror and fear, in the audience member, just because of how innocent they are as characters, that they're very easily intimidated or threatened, easily. You know what I mean? They're very vulnerable, and as characters, that makes their scenes a lot more scary, because there's always that sense that, in a way, that they can be, killed or, injured or taken advantage of almost. I don't know. I don't know if we went this far, but the Kitsch character, the actual robot or whatever, Imran, what are they called?
Kirsch is a synthetic. He's a synthetic.
That's right. He's a full synth. All right. So yeah, he's a synth too. So yeah, Kirsch is great.
Yeah.
Timothy Oliphant as Kirsch so far. His facial expressions and everything, you know what I'm saying? That he's doing, for the character are totally top notch. I'm loving it. He him along with Moreau, he made episode 3 really, really great. And I loved his opening, scenes on the ship. And just, his whole way of going about his job, and leading the mission down there, yeah, I mean, a lot of cool things happened there right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? The fear that the one young synth girl, the white Caucasian one with the brown hair, that she has after she got attacked by that alien eyeball creature.
Yeah.
That whole element that they threw in with her whole character being mental health, fucked up or whatever after that incident, right? Afterwards, that was a really cool element that you're able to do with the synths, because they're so new, and so interesting, and such a an unknown commodity, in terms of what they can do or be, or I think it's only natural that we would start to see some errors, I guess you could say, in the design of these synths, issues that could pop up, with their growth. You know what I mean? Their evolution, whatever you want to call, that process of their learning and and becoming, whatever they become. It's interesting seeing one of them, develop like very humanistic emotions, with fear and trauma from the attack, the incident, and then have that spiral into something, maybe more psychotic down the road or whatever, more crazy. The synths are really cool characters, and everything about the opening and all that is great. I can't say enough about all the characters on the show are awesome. So it's all totally top notch. A+, Cyber.
Thank you. Great job, sir. Excellent job, everyone. 1 billion points for everyone. Great job. All right. So in that section too, everyone kind of mentioned it too. We got the president of Kirsch, seeing him and kind of like what he's doing, and then of course we had that whole section with Morrow and the two synths, and then of course that goes into the part where we get to see the killing of the alien by Wendy, and of course her brother's there, Hermit, and he gets injured too as well. I mean, there's a couple times I thought he was going to get killed myself, and I was like, holy crap, don't kill him, we need him. We need him. For Wendy's story, I didn't think Wendy was going to get knocked out of commission after only 2 episodes right away, so I was kind of like, huh? I'm like, wow, that was quick. But anyways, I think, also I have to agree with everyone. Very solid beginning to this episode. All right, so moving on from there. So meanwhile, Wendy and Hermit fight the Xenomorph with a meat hook, and Wendy kills it, although both sustain serious injuries. Returning to the island, Hermit undergoes surgery, and the Sylvias tend to Wendy. Cavalieri inspects the specimens until Kirsch removes him from his own protection. Atom Eanes questions Smee and Slightly about their encounter with Morrow. Having escaped into New Siam, Morrow calls Yutani and insists on retrieving the specimens despite being offered extraction. So we'll stop there, which I think is a good sequence there. That whole section, it was interesting, the kind of the whole, no humans can be allowed in there while you guys are doing the specimens. We have that kind of conversation between the Sylvias, which is actually funny. While they're working on Wendy, we see Hermit being worked on and stuff like that during this. Morrow calling Yutani, who we all know is a part of one of the groups, one of the other companies that is now a part of the storyline now, where it's not just, Wyland, which for, 46 years now, up until this year, Wyland was like the number one, was like the main bad guy in all majority of the Alien films. They were the big conglomerate that was trying to use the aliens for their advantage and use them against the human species. So, having these two new entities enter into the race with Wyland, I think is quite interesting. So I think this Yutani person is really interesting too, because we find out, briefly there about, that her mother started the company out 65 years prior to this. So I think that's really interesting too. So what are your guys' thoughts on this and overall leading up to, from where we left off at the beginning, and kind of overall your thoughts on kind of everything that went on here, especially the Morrow Yutani conversation and kind of the starting the research of the species and stuff, I think is a really interesting thing. I'll start with you, Jeff, this time.
Oh, pass on me for a minute, sir.
Jesus Christ.
He's at the urinal, I think. I don't know what's going on over there.
All right, so I'll go to you first, Imran, then.
Yo, that whole scene with the Xeno is wild. Like, first of all, she frees him, and the Xeno pokes his head through the thing, and essentially, he lets him go. He takes off, right? He didn't attack her. He just looked in, and then he leaves, and then she stabs him on top. We get the acid for blood. Great. The whole thing tips over. But then that fight with the meat hook, the staging was a little weird. I couldn't really figure out what was going on. I guess she somehow, I don't know how she threaded the hook through the penis mouth in the mouth, whatever, the inside mouth. They cheated us out of actually seeing the kill. I thought was interesting. I would have liked to see the fight. We don't see her actually kill him. But I didn't think the Xeno would go out so quickly also. I thought it would get out, it would terrorize a little bit more. Eventually they would have to kill it, forcing them to like wake up the Nostromo, get some more. But she gets a kill. Wendy gets a first Xeno kill. That is impressive. And it's kind of crazy. And then okay, here's the thing. We all know this is a bad idea to take all these species and eggs and bring them into the building on the island. This is not going to turn out well for anybody. I don't know why. I'm like, oh, you don't want these eggs. But they keep teasing the egg opening whenever there's somebody near it that it could use. We know what's going to happen. But right away, and I think Kirsch knows this too. And I'm like, this is not a good idea. And then yes, Morrow. Seeing Yutani is crazy. I was like, oh my God, we actually get to meet Yutani, Weyland Yutani. That's great. You've seen this name in all the movies, and we finally get to meet Yutani. Morrow is just doing his job, right? So I appreciate his dedication. His job is to get the specimens, and he's like, I can still do it. I got other ways. But think about it from this guy's point of view. Like, he's been asleep. He's been gone for 65 years. Everybody he knows is dead. Everything's different. He's like an old cyborg model just thrown in there. And then think about Joe. Joe thought his sister was dead. And then she shows up in this body and they fight an alien and almost die. Like, it's a lot to process all of a sudden. So I feel for both of them. But yeah, the Xeno scene is great. It's always great when the Xenomorph's on screen.
Thank you, Imran. Very good job. I can see Jeff has returned, so I will turn it over to you, Jeff. Your thoughts, sir, on that section of the episode.
Yes, sorry about that, Cyber. I stepped away for just a moment. Thank you, Imran, for spelling me, sir. But yeah, Imran makes good points as always. Alien Earth is fun to talk about. It's a fun show. The corporate, conglomerate aspect, the Weyland Yutani, aspect of the show is interesting. Of course, Weyland Yutani is cool, interesting. Background villain, for aliens and Alien. I think that it's sort of not all that shocking in this future of of America or whatever that it'd be a young Japanese chick running the company. It's not surprising in this universe, I think. So I like that angle. I think, and seeing Murrow finally call in, call into home base, and I also just, I didn't say anything about it before when we went around last time, but I just want to mention real quick that seeing Moreau do the download from the computer on the ship and all that just adds another really cool wrinkle to his power set, like what he can do, you know what I mean, as a character, his abilities, you know what I mean, and also makes him even more non-human, like more robotic, at the end of the day. The fact that he's actually able to download files, and he has some sort of CPU or something, like surgically implanted in his head or something like that, it's very intriguing. Murrow is a very layered character, that continues to surprise the audience, over and over in terms of providing really cool shit on screen, right? For people to see, with him, of different kinds. You know what I mean? Whether it's, his menacing, sort of evil, sort of, way or vibe that he sort of emits, on screen, all the time, you know what I'm saying? Or that like cold, calculated, purpose he has as a character to like, fulfill his mission, and get the specimens, he has, and then, or his gadgets, his adaptions, his knife blade, arm blade, his blowtorch arm, he's got a lot of cool shit going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he just keeps on upping the ante and like doing more cool shit, or like, pulling out another cool gadget, like all the time. You know what I mean? Like to where, you start to wonder, like, when is this guy going to run out of tricks at this point? Like he's doing a lot of cool shit so far. Yeah, Imran's right. I mean, without question, like, it definitely would have been a lot cooler if they would have showed the fucking Xenomorph fight with what's her name?
Wendy.
Thank you, Wrath. I appreciate that, brother. Yes, Wendy. That would have been a nice fight to see. Probably expensive to pull off, honestly, film and pull off, but still, would have been really cool to see. I will say though that giving us that really gory decapitated or whatever fucking body, alien body, Xeno body scene or whatever, like all gored up, and at least showing us how brutal the fight was, you know what I mean? That was good. I like the fact that they did that at least, right? And then the way that they handled, I want to call her Megan for some reason.
Wendy.
Megan, Wendy, whatever. The way they handled her being injured, and her having that like milk-looking blood, whatever,
like the synthetics, yeah.
Just like Bishop, from Aliens or whatever, or
yeah.
Great to see. It's great to see that. Raph mentioned, him bringing that, a younger viewpoint to like, Alien Earth, having maybe not watched the original Alien films and shit like that, which I totally, think that I commiserate with that. I get where Raph is talking about with that. It makes sense, that Alien Earth will be, a way for younger fans to kind of get into the Alien universe, that maybe haven't seen the originals, right? Or don't know what the whole, big deal is or whatever of Alien or Aliens, right? I think Alien Earth is a great starting point, for fans, to get into Alien, right? It's probably more effective than a movie, like than Alien Romulus, honestly, probably is or was, as a film. I think as an 8-episode TV show, an hour a clip episode, I think that's a lot of space, to sell Aliens to people, as a concept. And again, Moreau kind of dies off in the episode after this, so I'll just point out that again, he's great in the episode. He carries the episode probably like halfway through, and then kind of dies off, right? But he's great. Kitch is great, just his whole stoic, synthetic bravery, vibe he has going on, the whole time walking around that ship, seeing them all get out of, you know, the wreckage of the ship, you know, and head back home to the island and all that shit. Did you go that far, Cyber? Yeah. All right. I honestly, I did not care for the Zack Snyder-esque slow motion set of scenes with the, you know, the loud music in the background, you know, that they pulled off there, you know, where they really wanted to kind of like do some long, you know, shots, you know, and play the music and, you know, whatever. That was just kind of filler for me, you know, seeing, you know, Wendy get wheeled off on the gurney and all that shit, you know, injured and all that, you know, okay, I saw that already, you know, I don't need to see that for like 3 minutes straight, you know. So honestly, they could have done the rest of the episode and kept on in the next episode, kept on doing the whole like you know, spaceship wreckage, you know, as the location of the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was loving that, you know, with the apartment complex too, or whatever, you know, along with it. I was loving that location. So honestly, I was fine with it. They could have kept on doing that, and I would have been okay with it. You know, but it was cool to see them moving on and getting back to the island already, you know, and moving on from the wreckage and all that, you know. And they got all the fucking species, man. They caught all of them somehow. I don't know how they got them, but they did, you know. They got them eggs somehow without opening them. I don't know how. They had human beings like carting them around, driving them around and shit, you know, and they somehow weren't opening. I don't know how. But that's it, Cyber.
Okie dokie. Thank you, sir. Great job. All right, moving over to you, Mr. Pop Culture Guy, Mr. Toxic Avenger, Mr. Time Mower, Time Cop, Time Adventure, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, just nothing. Just off topic. I just finished up Game of Thrones, and one of the characters had now so many of these titles. As like, you could call me the Lord of many titles, folks. That's all you got to do. So many titles I have been called. But yeah, so Alien. So this section was pretty cool. One thing I appreciate about this episode, well, I appreciate about this series, they're not forgetting that it's a horror show. Like, we're getting a lot of horror action, and so I really appreciate the horror vibes and like the action at the same time. And something we did complain about last week about what was it, the brother being kind of like that stereotypical, like having a bulletproof vest, because he was constantly getting jumped by the Seymour, or like he was doing these like jumps to this, like, you know, the platform. Is like he easily be killed by that. So I appreciate this episode. He got hurt, and like he wasn't like invincible. He actually got hurt, and like he had to get a surgery, which we saw later on in the episode. And so I really appreciate that he wasn't, you know, the stakes were real for both our characters. I do agree with Jeff. I kind of wish we saw the full, like, fight scene between Wendy and the Xenomorph, because when they went to that, because I just realized now, like, when they went to that other room, it reminded me of Aliens, when Ripley came out with the extra skeleton when she was going to fight the alien queen. Like, it kind of like was a similar scene to that, but the opposite of that. Because, you know, these synths are very powerful. I mean, we've seen these synths be very strong, and, you know, we don't. I'm trying to remember, like, besides like the other synth from Alien Romulus, we haven't seen them fight the aliens, you know, the Xenomorphs at all in full capacity. So it could have been a great chance to see that, but oh well. Yeah, so I really like this sequence. I like how horror-like it was, and I like how intense it really was. These Xenomorphs are so smart. They know what's a human and what's a robot. So like they knew that Wendy wasn't human, so it wasn't really a shock there. And I of course, at the end of the episode, you see the two siblings taking back to the facility, very interesting. And I forgot the redhead, was traumatized by that one-eye creature, as one of you guys brought it up. But yeah, so I'm very happy that Meryl survived. I was happy some of our favorite characters survived at least, which is good. Yeah, and I agree with I'm getting to like more of the kids. That was a big concern when we were getting into the show with the whole Peter Pan thing, as we were discussing. At least they're doing something with them. Honestly, when we get into the next scenes, it was like, oh, I see what they're doing with these other characters, because besides the main characters, I was like questioning why we need these other kids besides Wendy, and now it makes more sense when we get into Neverland, the facility that they are living at. So, but yeah, overall, the second sequence was awesome. It was great to get more alien action. That's good. I appreciate the show understands that we're, not only we're dealing very sci-fi things, we're also remembering that this is a horror show. So I like that we are getting a lot of horror action. So that's good.
Excellent, sir. Thank you. Going over to you, Mr. Wrath Khan. Your thoughts, sir, on basically from the killing of the Xenomorph up to the extraction of the specimens.
Yeah. So, okay, So everyone has talked great about the fight scene. One thing I probably missed hearing it, but if you look back at the previous episodes and the fight scene, you'll find that Wendy has this, like, she has like this special hearing ability where she can hear that alien that other people can't. And, throughout the fight scene, like, we even see that too. And that's how she was able to, like, know, like, oh, the alien is up there. So she just, like, puts her sword there and was able to get the alien. And I just like that they just kept it consistent, with that quality of Wendy. Because, if they create that fight scene and they don't even add that, oh, she has this special hearing ability to that alien, like the alien puts a sound in a frequency that only she can hear. If they don't add that to the scene, it's just going to be like, okay, you guys missed something here. And for those who like pay attention to like the whole series so far, they'd be like, yeah, they messed up in that scene. And it'd be like hard to like not even pay attention to that. So I'm glad they added that. It just also goes to show just the level of detail they have, the producers, when making this entire show. I will say, when Wendy was with that alien in that like garage and seeing her brother like try to like quickly reopen the garage, my first thought of mine was like, dude, like, she's a great fighter, but it's like, why do you want to let the alien out? Like, dude, if anything, she's probably going to be okay based on her skills. But for this guy himself, like, don't forget, you're human. You barely escaped this alien. You even got trapped by him like twice. It's like, dude, why create that opportunity again for that alien? But, I'm thinking like that as I'm watching it. But then when you see in the end, like, oh, she got the alien. It's like, that's actually pretty smart of the writers, just adding it like that. But it was also interesting that when they had both Wendy and her brother like collapse, it's like, it was just art, the way everything was laid out. Because, I mean, that guy was like stabbed by the alien, like in the beginning. Remember, like he was like struggling, like get up to like close the garage. And then, we know he's bleeding out. But like, as when he's fighting the alien, we just don't really think about that because he looked pretty fine. But, in the end, you see Wendy's like down, and then you see him go down. I mean, that was just pure art, the way that whole scene was orchestrated. I mean, it's sad. We can't even see them fight. I mean, all we get is just seeing dents being made on that garage door. But that was just art in general. Like, I appreciate it so much. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Thank you there, Wrath. Good job, sir. Everybody did a fantastic job again. 10 billion stars for everyone. You guys are all rocking it tonight, all doing well, and just fantastically done, folks. Yeah. So, yeah, this section for me I thought was very fun. It was very interesting. The conversation that Morrow has with Yutani, I think, is really interesting. That was one of my favorite scenes, I thought, especially getting to finally see kind of like this other company and kind of their thought process. The killing, of course, of the Xenomorph, I thought was really outstanding. I think that the suit and everything looks really decent too, is high quality production value. And I think that, myself, I have to agree with everyone. I think this is a really solid portion of the episode. All right. So moving on from there, after, Morrow could have gotten distracted, but he decides that he's going to retrieve the specimens. We find out that Curly confronts Caballari about his favoritism towards Wendy, believing herself to be the best hybrid. Morrow contacts Slightly via the embedded device, convincing him to be his friend. Kirsch, Toodles, and Curly dissect a facehugger and introduce its larvae to Hermit's lung, removed during surgery. Wendy awakes, seemingly intercepting signals from the Xenomorph hive mind, which causes her pain and ultimate collapse in the laboratory containing the eggs. And that's how basically the episode ends, with her convulsing on the floor. All right, so I think the whole specimen section here where they're dissecting the egg is so freaking cool. That was I think the ultimate best part of this episode. Them starting to break that open and check out the facehugger and everything as it's still developing in the pod, and that was just so cool. And them dissecting everything was so cool. That just really put the episode over the top for me. I thought that was so awesome. But yeah, the whole section there too with Morrow contacting Slightly and talking to him via the embedded device, I thought that was kind of interesting. And they decided to go that path with that. I thought that was a little interesting, and at the same time, kind of what are you doing, Morrow? This is kind of interesting at the same time, kind of weird, but at the same time, it's kind of what's going on here? But then I think, the whole idea of putting the larvae into the lung that they took out of Hermit, I thought that was quite interesting too. And showing it going up inside the lung, you're just like, what the hell? I'm like, oh, so apparently that's what the face hugger puts into the chest.
Little tadpole. It's a little tadpole. It's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild.
So that was crazy. So I think that was really cool, getting to see a little bit more of the actual biological process of how the face hugger impregnates the host. Like they said, this thing is a parasite. So I love that fact too, that they're saying it's a parasite. I think that's something that should be more prominent in the Alien films, that these are a parasitic creature and they use us as hosts. It's how can you not get that through your skull? It's not good to have them around us, So I think that was really clever for the film episode. Anyway, so what are you guys' thoughts on the last section of the episode, this third portion? What did you like? What did you hate? What did you think was cool? Did you like the dissecting of the facehugger? Did you like the lung being shown, getting the larvae into it, and all that kind of good stuff? And this time I'll start with you, Andres.
Yeah. So this is where I really liked this episode. I thought seeing the different developments of our characters and see where we're gonna take them, and then after this episode was very interesting. So the girl, Curly, the female hybrid, very interesting to see that she has this jealous part with Wendy. She wants to be the favorite for the boy. So that was an interesting development, and I'm very curious how far she would she'll be that kind of character that will go against Wendy if the boy does something that is not ethical. He probably would will do something hey, if you do this, you could be my favorite. Do something that's unethical or something dangerous that can either kill her friends or Wendy. So it could go in that direction maybe in this series. The fact that we get this like new information about the character Curly, and I thought that conversation was really in depth. Because this boy, because apparently Noah Hawley say that the inspiration of like his characterization is from the Twilight Zone episode "It's a Good Life," great episode, where we saw like the boy that has this omnipotent power, and like he could do a lot of like Mr. Mystic Flick from Superman, like just snapping the finger, doing anything, and you kind of see how like this because we from the 2 episodes we got from the billionaire Carver, he is this very smart, intelligent person, like Isaac Menderes level, where like he's the smartest man on earth, and he's trying to find this like equal or someone to the level of him. And so we're seeing bits of here and there, like he's watching very closely to Wendy. Excuse me. In last episode, we didn't we saw like he also maybe was making the noise maybe for Wendy to hear the sounds that the Seymours do, maybe not. Like there's a lot of questions like why he's doing this to Wendy, and like why he's like pursuing Wendy as like his favorite, and why he wants her to like be on his level. It's a very interesting direction and question that I'm like curious about. And the fact that we're adding in this character that like has this jealousy and wants to be the favorite, not Wendy, is a very kind of like interesting and like development to take and like make the show very exciting and a very like in depth. Yeah, and I always love the dissecting stuff with the aliens. Learning more of their like their like adaptation on us, and like how they work as like species. The fact that we learn that when a human is around, they know they're there, and so like that's why they hatch. And that was a really cool reveal, because I was wondering like they were eggs. I never thought like they were like they knew that when they came into the room, they know that they hatch, and it was really cool. And he saw the second time, especially when Kirsch was in the room twice, he noticed that, as that like except for a robot or a synth, they're not gonna hatch. They're gonna wait when like the actual humanoids are in that room. So that was really a cool reveal and adding into the lore of the Xenomorphs, gestation. So it was really great. And it reminded me of when Kirsch was doing the trying to get that like I don't know parasite like seed and put it in the was it the liver of the character let me get the
Joe
Herman. Yeah, Joe. Thank you. I forgot his first name is Joe. It's so normal. Of Joe. I was like, whoa, what's that going to happen? Is that going to be like a Prometheus thing where it's going to form into a new alien, something like that? That would be crazy. Like the black goo from Prometheus and recently the Alien Romulus movie. So I'm very curious what's going to happen with that liver and.
I could have swore I saw something that looked like the black goo in like a container when they brought the specimens in.
Yeah, well, they have a lot of. I'm curious if the goo is there, because
this retcons the black goo a little bit the way what they showed us inside.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, last week we find out was the time like it's before it's in between. It's before the first Alien movie. We know that,
right?
Because Alien Romulus is. Because we know Alien Romulus is between the first and second film. So
honestly, I thought I saw something, but honestly, like whatever they already have going on, adding the black goo would probably be too much.
No, Noah Hawley has talked about how he's kind of going to disregard the Prometheus stuff and just do his own thing.
Yeah.
As if that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, it would feel like too much if they added the black goo on top of everything else,
Yeah, no, I agree, because they're way too powerful, and like I sometimes kind of question how they can do
The
things.
minute that you go with the black goo, you're adding in the entire Prometheus, whatever. Fucking
It's
universe.
more creatively freeing to ignore the Prometheus and do what you want, I think.
Yeah,
for him.
yeah. No, I agree because they don't really fit at all with the timeline, and
No,
like
no, it doesn't.
yeah, and like you think about the style and like I get that the ship like I know this is kind of weird the nitpick, but like their ship was so advanced. Is like it doesn't even fit in the alien stuff. Where like you'll get the ship that crashed on episode 1 or 2. It looks exactly what I can see that ship from the Alien franchise.
The shit? The shit or ship? Ship.
The shit
Not
hit the
shit.
fan. The shit hit his fan that's on in there.
Sounds like you're saying shit, sir. Just FYI.
Anyway, moving on. And then, the spaceship, folks. That's what I'm saying. Oh my god, I can't talk anymore. What else? Oh, getting to know more Meryl as a character, like him counting the woman that's running the Yotani company. That was a great scene. I really like that. We learned quite a bit of what he was, especially when he talks to the Indian kid. Was it
Smee?
Yeah, it's me. Was that me? I thought it was Slightly.
Oh, maybe it's Slightly. It's one of those.
Yeah.
I get confused which name it
It's
is.
slightly.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
Smee
yeah.
Slightly, I think. Smee's
Like,
the other one.
yeah, again, he's my favorite character of the cast. I'm very curious. Like he's definitely going to go to that the Neverland facility because we've seen bits of the if you've seen the trailers and my trailer action with Jeff, like he's over there.
Oh.
And so like he has to be going over there to like get the specimen and the Sea of Mars for the Wayland Yutani. And I think that's something that is going to happen later in the series. And by the way, I do agree with Jeff. It was kind of sad not to stay in the the big hotel crash spaceship because that's just such a good horror location you could do. I was surprised that we were done with that. So I do agree with Jeff with that. The fact that we were kind of done with that and like we went to again the Neverland, but I was not bothered by that because like you're gonna as typical horror thing, like that place is gonna be affected by the Sea of Mars and all the species they got, and like it's gonna crash down like later on in the series, as any horror like movie or Alien if you've seen. So like the fact he talked to the tiny woman and like he knew the previous bonds, but because it was 65 years now, she is not she's dead obviously, and the daughter is taking over it. So I'm very curious how he is. It was very funny. It was a really cool scene where he was doing the Mission Impossible even hunting, where he was grabbing things from the street. No one noticing that. Like, come on, how you didn't notice the guy is gonna take your food and then randomly take the phone? Like this I'm just shocked. And even in the future, we're so like not paying attention to our stuff and stuff. So yeah, I this was a great finale. It was like it really pushed us into very interesting directions to like look for in the series, which is great. That's what you need to do so that you can keep my interest going. And plus, they at least have some like sprinkle of action, which is good. And as you guys brought up before, it's very interesting to see Wendy like hearing the sounds from the Sea of Mars and the aliens. So I'm very curious, like, is she like a hybrid of an alien mixed with synth? Because that is gonna be interesting and cool if that is a thing, maybe. I don't know. So that's my thoughts on the finale. It was a really good finale for this third episode.
Thank you, sir, shit captain. We just love that, the whole, shit captain thing,
Shit captain.
So, great job, sir. Great job.
So I'm gonna be shit lord then.
Oh, you're shit lord now.
Lord
Okay.
of the shit.
So you got a quadrillion points there for that, sir. That was
Yes.
fantastic. Fantastic.
Best day ever.
So anyways, going over to you, Wrath, your thoughts, sir, on the final part of the episode.
Yeah, so I mean, let's just start off with the fact that what's that guy's name again?
Bro,
Shoot, the
Mark-
CEO. You know
Whoa.
Boy
Boy
Cavalier.
Cavalier, dumbest name ever.
I guess it makes sense. I
Boy
mean,
Cavalier.
at least it's not like Peter
I mean,
Pan.
he looks like a
okay?
boy.
Yeah, it's all Peter. He's Peter Pan, right? Essentially, he does look like a
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah, but I will say when he first saw those specimens come in, dude, it's like a boy on Christmas Day. You know, he sees all that quote unquote $1 trillion of R&D come in, and he is like overjoyed. And I'm just like, dude, you don't know what's going on. You don't even know why that ship crashed in the first place. But I mean, all that excitement. I mean, people always find out. I mean, that's like the theme with Alien. Everyone wants the Alien, but then, you know, they can't handle it. Things go bad.
They all die.
The next what?
Then they all die. Then they all just
Exactly.
Get
It's like a cycle.
yeah. Nobody learns.
Yeah. It's always a cycle. But you know what's interesting? When I first saw the lung being taken out from Joe, you know, I was just like thinking about how, well, Wendy has like good motives of saving Joe. You know, for everyone else, I'm just like, you guys are all evil. I mean, you guys care less about his survival and you care more about exploiting him and his injury just for scientific gain. I mean, why take out that lung? Oh, so you can see what that tadpole does when he, meets a life form. Man, it's like crazy. I mean, kind of disturbing in a sense, but I mean, that's Alien. You know, what do you expect? But I also liked how, as like those eggs were hatching, as that face hugger, you call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
As he's like, being like ripped open, like how people rip open like the KFC drumsticks and stuff. You can just like hear the scream, right? And it's only Wendy that's like, hearing it, being like this. And the way how they showed, her like walking through the whole facility as like, they hear the screams and stuff. I was just like, wait a minute. She just collapsed. But like, wasn't she like watching them? Like
she was in the room and nobody even noticed. I'm like, turn around. She's right there. Nobody heard her. Nobody heard the door open. Yeah, I got to turn around and look.
Exactly. That's what I was wondering too. I was like,
nope, nobody noticed. She fell. They didn't hear it. Nobody heard it.
But you know what's also weird too is that even that around that the ending too, it's like they kept showing that blue room with like the the bigger eggs being hatched. I'm like, did she go there? Because if she collapsed and those surgeons didn't hear it, maybe she was there.
It was weird. I didn't know. Yeah, it was weird.
Dude, the whole sequence, man, you don't even know what room she's in.
That's true. The editing was a little like confusing because I wasn't sure either. I'm like, did she just walk in the room and nobody knows?
Yeah.
Nobody turn around. She's behind you.
And it's like also like, wait a minute, how's that room not even locked? How was she?
Yes, that's the other thing. Well, she can hack into technology, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, she
dude,
just walk right in. She just walk right in. Nobody knows.
No, but when she hacks, she like does like that hand thing, right?
Yeah,
or something. She didn't even do that.
Well,
She's like walking.
The door
like
just open. Yeah.
Yeah.
like you're walking to Macy's, bro.
Yeah.
My gosh, that whole scene. I'm just like, what are you guys doing? I don't even understand what room she's in.
Yeah.
Like, that's like my only critique with this episode. Probably like my biggest critique. I mean, I didn't have much other critiques because they were quite consistent, with like Wendy and the noise and all that stuff. Oh man. But that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
Oh man.
What?
Nothing, sir.
I just focus on one section. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Wrath. Good job, sir. 1 billion points for you too, sir. All right, moving over to you, Jeff. Your thoughts, sir, on the conclusion of the episode?
Yes, honestly, am I the only one that felt like there's a little bit of a very creepy, like horrific sexual vibe going on with the female synths or whatever,
Yeah.
Wait, how did sexual come into the picture?
Because there's like that innocence, that adolescence, that childlike vibe or whatever we talked about before, that the synths have, you know what I mean, on the show, and they're very vulnerable as people or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and at that point, with that, with the head of Prodigy guy, Kid Cutie or whatever, he's so creepy, you know what I'm saying? Like as a guy, as a character, he's
but he created them. Like to him, these are his creations.
But you know what? There is a perverted, like sexual tension there. For me at least, when I watch the scenes with that one synth girl that wants to be his new favorite or whatever.
Yeah.
And even with Wendy or whatever, there is like a sexual tension, horror based feeling there, at times in scenes, that they can be taken advantage of because they're so youthful. You know what I'm saying? They're very vulnerable. Even though they're very strong and like invulnerable and all that shit, right? They're also very innocent, and they're very much not informed about like being an adult at all, like they're not taught at all. They're not like trained, into their bodies at all, They keep them like childlike, you know what I'm saying? And then they put them into these adult bodies and it doesn't fit. It's very weird, and it just creates another weird layer to the sexual vibe that's already like weird, you know what I'm saying? But it's there, and I welcome it on a show like Alien Earth. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Brad? Why not, right?
Well, I mean, the Alien has always been very phallic, and it's originally it's.
There's always been like
allegory
a sexual angle.
Yeah, penetration and sex. It's always been an allegory for that kind.
Yeah, originally the original concept of Alien was like, hey, what if we had that alien fuck the guy? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then he like spit out the bigger alien. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the concept of Alien originally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until they like worked it out. Originally it was like an alien fucks a guy. You know what I mean? Which is actually a really cool concept, honestly, to have that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you did that, I think there's actually been movies that have done that before, honestly.
Species is
Species. Yeah, there you go. Hey, you know what? At least the first Species film was actually pretty good. It was worth being recorded on VHS, like, back in the day for me,
Yeah.
and watched, you know what I'm saying? And like multiple watch it, but then it went downhill after that, after the first one.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good. Species was good call, Imran. I mean, hey, like I already said, Alien Earth is just a very fun to talk about kind of show. It's very enjoyable to talk about TV that's this like exciting and this positive to look forward to, like to watch, from a watching audience kind of standpoint, right? You don't dread it at all. You know what I mean? You go into the episodes very positive minded about it, about the whole experience, right? Like everything you're seeing so far is good. So, it's a very good experience on the watching end, so far. And honestly, I don't see it getting bad at any point. I don't see it happening. I think this show has enough chutzpah or whatever, like enough energy to stretch out across its episodes, to where it should still be pretty solid at the end, I think. And we'll see, but I think it will be. And I mean, I'm really enjoying the ending shots of the episodes with the the metal and rock music and everything at the end. I'm loving that part. It adds a really cool action movie, right? Vibe or energy, like to every episode in a way, And I like it. It's another nice wrinkle, along with the title sequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
To add to the show, and just kind of, add to that quality overall. You know what I'm saying? It's already high end, based off what they're giving you on screen. Hey, the show looks great. Episode 3 looks great. And I think that FX has never had a problem with looking good, looking great on their shows and all. That's never been an issue. I think that again, Murrow having that totally like low key device that he that he put on that kid, right? The Indian kid, whatever his name is, that he had that device to put on him the way he did, is just, again, so cool, that as a character for him to be that creative and that, having all this tech and, these gadgets, to work with. I'm loving it with him. And he's so capable so far that when he says things like, when he tells, the Whale Utani chick, that, his life's work is in those creatures, right? Or whatever, and he won't stop. You believe it, as a character, you believe it, he has a lot of conviction. So, you figure he's got a good shot to do it. If he wants to do it, he's going to at least try, which is cool to look forward to. That's nice. I like that. It's a nice little Easter egg, to, have hanging around, so far for the show, to pop up later on, what I'm saying? Knowing that he's eventually going to break into, the island, and steal those fucking creatures, what I'm saying? I can only imagine how that's going to go down, so I'm looking forward to that big time. As a character, it'll be interesting to see if they keep him around in episode 4, and he's still there, like a part of the storyline and everything, in episode 4 again still, or if they don't decide to reel back with his character a little bit, and deviate a little bit away from him for episode or 2, like a lot of shows like to do with certain characters sometimes. We'll have to see, it'll be interesting to see what they do. They have a lot of characters to work with on this show so far, right? So the lung, I wasn't sure what the fuck that was. Honestly, I couldn't tell. It was so big. I was like, I couldn't tell it was a lung, but I guess it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That they kept him alive. They just took his lung, right? So technically, he should still be alive somewhere, on Prodigy's Island or something, right? The brother, you know what I'm saying? So they didn't kill him. But yeah, Cyber's right. Watching them Kitsch do the surgery on the facehugger was totally awesome horror, horrific, content to watch. And seeing that thing he took out of the fucking facehugger and put that attached to the lung or went in the lung, was awesome. I love that horror sci-fi, vibes or whatever that they have going on with that kind of shit, right? I can't wait to see how that plays out too, just more cool shit to give us to look forward to later on in the show. You know what I'm saying? You can't go wrong with that, Alien Earth is really strong so far through 3 episodes. And, I guess Noah Hawley or whatever is, seems pretty, like a pretty solid dude, I'm really enjoying his show. It's killer so far, and that kind of going out off of the connection with the device with the Indian kid and Moreau, it was so creepy, in a way, you know what I mean? The way they did it was so creepy. Him saying that he would be his friend was so weird and creepy. I loved it. Moreau's just a great character. He's awesome. He looked so scary when he was downloading the files in the episode. It was scary when he was sweating and everything. He looks great. And he looks a lot like the black guy from the first Alien movie too. Yeah, I mean, again, there's that weird, like, horrific sexual tension going on with the synthetic chick and, the kid cutie guy or whatever, that was interesting, because he's kind of a fucking evil guy. So you wonder what he'd be willing to do, for one of those sins, you know what I'm saying? And he don't really give a fuck about laws or ethics or anything like that, I don't think, right? So, yeah, we'll see where that goes. I love it though. Hey, again, I don't know how all those humans, with no gear on, were able to drive around and walk around with the eggs, with the egg pods or whatever, without them opening, right? And the facehuggers coming out. I don't understand how that works, but they were doing it again at the end. Moving around and everything, And I mean, so far the show's awesome. I can't wait to see another episode. Episode 4 is going to be great. I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it. And I guess the last thing I'll say is that I love that they concluded the episode on Wendy. And took to black on her. It was a good ending, a good fit for her character. I felt, to have her be still laying there on the floor. Nobody picked her up, After this, you see the treatment start to go downhill for the synths in this episode. You know what I'm saying? You had that weird bald guy come out there and talk to the synths at that one point. That was pretty scary, That scene was pretty scary. And you can kind of see that, there's a certain, menacing, sort of negativity there all of a sudden in this episode towards the treatment of the synths a little bit, And so, I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to play out too down the road, right? Because, it's getting pretty dark for them, as characters, right? Especially as they're starting to develop, secrets and stuff like that, is not going to help them at all. You know what I mean? I think that overall, again, I just want to mention that the characters so far have been great. Great casting and everything in episode 3 looked awesome, So, yeah, I'm totally down with Alien Earth so far, Cyber.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. So, I mean, I think this, episode was fantastic. This ending part, like I said earlier, I think that autopsy section, the dissecting, is the best. I think so damn amazing. So definitely, if you have not seen this episode, check it out just for that sequence. Anyways, going over to you, Amron, to take us out. What are your thoughts, sir, on the finale?
I think Curly is really interesting. The fact that she seems to be the only one who's adjusted to her body rather quickly. And she's in, and her being jealous is interesting. And this is more like the Peter Pan shit, right? Like Boy Cavalier's Peter Pan. Curly is kind of like Tinkerbell. She's jealous of Wendy. She wants to be Peter Pan's favorite. And so they're really playing with this whole Peter Pan allegory. But the guy playing Boy Cavalier is so good because I hate Boy Cavalier. He's so hateable. You just want to punch him in the face. I mean, he uses the phone with his feet. What obnoxious asshole does that? Like, he thinks he's God. He thinks he's the smartest dude in the room. He's condescending. It's perfect. Like, you want to hate him. He makes a great villain. Does a really great job. The prop, like you mentioned, Cyber, at the beginning, that prop egg, him cutting it open with the animatronic thing looked fantastic. You could tell it's practical. But I was yelling at my TV. I was like, no, don't cut that open. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do it. And then the thing jumps out. He just grabs it. And it's properly moist and gooey and slimy. And for the first time, you see what these things actually are putting in people. That was really cool. You always wondered I always thought it was like a little egg. I don't know. I didn't think it was like a little tadpole that went in there. the fact that Wendy can hear these creatures, she's sensitive to it. Who did that? Did Boy Cavalier program that into her? This is fascinating. Why is she connected? Is it the aliens reaching out to her? Is it something in her? I don't know. I'm excited to find out. But yeah, so far, the layered stories and rich characters and the world building has been fantastic. I was so along for the ride. I like that it was the little action heavy first half, story heavy second half, but you got more pieces of information. You got more about what everybody's doing. And I'm in, man. I just want to see wherever he wants to take me. I will go there because the show's he's done a great job so far.
Agreed. Excellent. Thank you, sir. Great job. Another 1,000,000,000 points for you, sir. All right. So that is the end of the episode. What a fantastic episode. So what will we give this as a rating, folks? Starting with you, Wrath. 1 through 10, what would you give it?
I'll probably give it like around, probably like an 8. I mean, you finish one trilogy and you're moving on to the next. They always do a great job of getting you like excited for the next episode. I mean, the last episode ended with a literal cliffhanger, and then this one is like, you're just excited for what comes next after they dissect all these creatures. So, yeah, 8 out of 10. I mean, masterfully done. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Mr. Imran, what would you give it?
Yeah, I mean, I would give it it is well balanced. There's a little bit of action and story in every episode. I think I go 7.5. It's a transition episode, just like the title, Metamorphosis, moving away from the crash, transforming into wherever they're gonna go, and bringing these species on that island. I cannot wait till they kill everybody on this island, because that's a bad.
Excellent. Jack, what would you give it, sir?
Oh, I mean, honestly, I almost wanted to give it a 10 there for a minute, but then I was like, I don't know. I should probably be careful about that. You know what I'm saying? There's more episodes still to go, so I should probably yank that back. So I'll give it a 9.5, but it's like close to a 10, type of episode, a lot of really good shit happened in the episode, and anytime you have that going on, you got multiple good things, fucking happening, in one episode of television. That's always a positive. What's up, Room Upstairs podcast? What's going on? Most definitely. So, yeah, I'm loving it. Like I said, Alien Earth is really great so far. And Cyber, it's a 9.5.
All right. Mr. Time Cop?
I'll give this an 8.5 out of 10. I mean, it's a very good filler episode that, we don't have our main protagonist, Wendy, all the half episode, but the good stuff are in the episode of moving forward with the other plot points that we're going to probably see throughout the series, with Mr. Marrow come to Neverland facility, and then seeing Curly maybe potentially be another threat in the story. That would be cool to see, and seeing the company that the boy has all the specimens of the aliens, besides the Seymours. I'm curious, are we going to see experiments on them and see them in full action like we saw briefly in the first 2 episodes, So it was a good episode. I really like it. It didn't top the excitement of the first 2 episodes for me, but it's a still quality episode that we got for the show, which is good.
Excellent. Thank you. And I thought this was absolutely a superb episode, especially with the whole dissecting. So I have to give it a 10 myself. I think it's a very 10-worthy episode. It was really good. This, series is off to a really great start, I feel. And I hope it keeps its momentum because it has been really done well. And, that's hard to follow sometimes. So really done well at Hulu FX. You guys are knocking it out of the park with this. Shout out to Josh Halley. Shout out to everyone a part of this production. You guys are rocking it. All right. So I will push it over to Mr. Jeff and he will take us out.
Thank you, Cyber. Great job, sir. Look at it's amazing how time flies, gentlemen, when you have good company. That hour and 40 minutes flew by. So we are doing our plugs, everybody, and Imran. We'll start with you, sir. Jock and Nerd Podcast. Go ahead, motherfucker.
Yeah, Jock and Nerd Podcast, audio podcast. So everywhere you get your audio podcast, new episodes every week. We're also on YouTube. But wow, what a run of movies we have had since July. We've reviewed Jurassic World Rebirth, Superman, Fantastic Four, The Naked Gun, Weapons, Nobody 2. Just like it's been a great month and a half for new releases. And all like different stuff too, which is really fun to see in the theaters. But you can, if you've seen those movies, you can check out our reviews and review television and movies and entertainment news every week. New episode. Most
definitely. And follow and rate the Jock and Nerd Podcast, just like you could, of course, do the same thing for the MCU's Bleeding Edge podcast. We really appreciate it. And Wrath, I know you don't really technically have anything to plug, sir, but I just wanted to single you out and just mention again how wonderful it is to see you, sir. You look very healthy, and you're obviously clearly the most attractive person on the panel, I think, tonight, which is good for you, sir. And it's always good to see you and have you around and have you back. I hope you'll come back and do another episode of Alien Earth. Here during season.
Likewise. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for the compliment.
We'll get you back, sir. Once we wrap up tonight or whatever, I'll get back to you. We'll get another episode lined up. I'll try to get you back. I'll try to get Imran lined up for you too.
Yeah, Imran, you better come back.
I'll come back, and we got Peacemaker coming up too. I'm excited.
Yep, that's right. We're going to see Imran again in like a week for Peacemaker. Yeah. Andre's pop culture guy.
Yes. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us today for the Alien Earth episode 3 review. It was fun to talk to you guys with this episode. Raph, it was great to see your brother. It's been a while. And Amran, as always, it was great to see you, talk to you with pop culture stuff. So recently, first off, I just want to mention Terrence Stamp, who sadly passed away Sunday. So please check out the top 6 Terrence Stamp moments or scenes that I think just shows how good he is as an actor. I mean, of course, everyone knows him as General Assad in the 2 first Christopher Reeve films, and really popularized that character, General Assad, completely. And then check out my Catwoman tribute to Julie Newmar from the 60s show, because her birthday was on the 16th. And then just recently, I just posted the Mr. Terrific fight scene that was awesome in the new Superman movie, so check that out. And shorts, I just recently reviewed a movie from this year. It was the 2025 film Amateur. It was the Remy Malek film where he plays a CI data analysis that wanted to take revenge on these criminals that kill his wife. It was a long time I saw this movie in April. I didn't get around to review it, so yesterday I got around to reviewing that. And then in terms of live stream reviews, I got Sinners coming up this Sunday with Jeff, so I'm going to review the classic 2025 film this year, Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler. Awesome film, one of the best films of 2025 this year for me, in my opinion. One of the best horror films. And speaking, I can foreshadow my the next couple of reviews. I will review Weapons, the new horror movie that's came out. So I'm going to see that next Tuesday. So I'll let you guys know how that was good in my short review. So that's where I'm at right now in terms of content. So thank you everyone for joining us today.
Okay. All right. So we just got one more fine person tonight to plug, and that's you, Cyber. Go ahead.
All right, folks, so if you enjoyed me as the moderator, or if you enjoyed me on the panel, you can check out my solo content. You can find me under Cyberneticshark on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, pretty much most platforms you will find me. As you see there, my most recent 2 videos are the Strangers Chapter 2 trailer reaction, and then of course Superman, my movie review finally of that, and rant as I like to call it, because it is a fucking rant. It's amazing, and I just absolutely loved ranting about it. So check that out, folks. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I've seen it twice now. Check out what my thoughts were on that if you have not seen it yet. But that just got uploaded today, so check it out, folks. My most recent trailer reaction, of course, like I said, Strangers Chapter 2 really looks like it's going to be an interesting film. Can't wait to see it. Like the first one, like the other ones. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this one's all about. So if you haven't seen that trailer, check out that trailer too as well. Most recent mini reviews there are, as you can see there, Bad Guys 2, Figure Friday, and Nobody 2. If you haven't seen those yet, check those out too as well. And yeah, keep on trucking, keep on watching, keep on enjoying. And more content coming for you guys soon, so keep it on and keep it on real.
All right, most definitely, folks. We appreciate all of you out there, and it's wonderful to be on the MCU's Bleeding Edge. Appreciate Andres, the pop culture guy, for being here tonight. Wrath, it was great again to see you again, brother. Imran, it's always wonderful to see you, sir. You are a fine gentleman creator. Great job, Cyber. And folks, we'll see you back again for us on Friday for Peacemaker, episode 1, which I'm looking forward to. And wish me luck watching the rest of season 1 real quick and knocking it out before Friday.